Let's take a look at the GOP field in Iowa. Donald Trump leads the Republicans, followed by Scott Walker, Marco Rubio, and Ben Carson. But look at who is now in sixth place. Carly Fiorina has passed Jeb Bush in Iowa. She's also in the top 5 in New Hampshire. Fiorina was praised for her performance in last week's early Republican debate. She's now with us from Wyoming. Morning.
Good morning, Charlie. How are you?
I'm good, and we're pleased to have you here. Tell me what your strategy is, what your plan is to take advantage of the attention that you have been receiving since the debate.
Well, you know, when I went into that debate last Thursday, less than 40% of Republican voters had ever heard my name. So I had a big introduction to do. And I think now that people know who I am, know that I am capable of not only winning this job, but doing this job, I'm going to continue doing what I've been doing, which is talking to as many voters as I can about what I think is necessary for our nation. And what I think is necessary, first and foremost, is a different kind of leadership that will challenge the status quo in Washington, get this economy going again, really cut government bureaucracy down to size and hold it accountable, and leadership that will restore our place in the world.
Many people would say that who want to be president. The question is, how do you do that?
Yeah, well, but many people don't have the experience and the resume that I have. Having started as a secretary and gone on to become the chief executive of the largest technology company in the world, I really do understand how the economy works. I know more world leaders on the stage today than anyone running, with the possible exception of Hillary Clinton, but I didn't do photo ops. I did work and charity and policy work in nations all over the world, so I understand the world and how it works and who's in it. I've led and transformed bureaucracies. That's important because the federal government is one giant, bloated, unaccountable, inept bureaucracy that no longer serves the people who pay for it. I understand technology, which is a tool. It's also a weapon, as we know, that's being used against us.
Carly, let me ask you then about one of the biggest issues on the global stage, and that is China. As you know, they have just devalued their currency twice. President Xi is scheduled to come to the White House next week. If you were president, what would you say to him?
I would say several things. First, China has made a bargain with their people. Their people have accepted a repressive, totalitarian regime in exchange for economic growth. And so China's ability to keep growing is at the core of their power. I would say first that we are going to be more aggressive in helping our allies in that region push back against new Chinese aggression, whether those allies are Australia or Japan or the Philippines. I would be conducting, actually now, at a moment when China's economy is wavering a bit, I would be conducting more flyovers on the South China Sea. We cannot permit China to control a trade route through which passes $5 trillion worth of goods and services every year. And finally, I would say that Chinese cyber attacks are an act of aggression on the United States, and they must stop. It is also true that our government has to be more competent about detecting and repelling those attacks.
Ms. Fiorina, the director of a New Hampshire poll says all of these long-shot candidates staying in the race are helping to keep Donald Trump on top and hurting the chances of some of the other candidates. Do you agree that it's hurting your candidacy as well? And what do you think about him being on top?
You know, I actually think that voters, Republican voters, are quite happy to see a broad, diverse, qualified field. Voters are going to decide, and this field will shake out over time. I also think that presidential campaigns reveal character over time and under pressure. And so what's going to happen is each of our characters will continue to be revealed over time and under pressure.
If Mr. Trump becomes the nominee, would you support him?
I will support whoever the nominee of the Republican Party is.
All right. Carly Fiorina, good to have you here at the table. We hope you'll come back.
Thanks. Thanks for having me.